Some camera rumors just feel different. Most of the time, we see a leak on a forum, we shrug, and we move on. It's just noise. It's just chatter. But then, there's the Nikon Z9 II. This isn't just noise. This feels heavy. It feels real. Even before this camera officially exists, it is already changing the conversation. It is making professionals pause before they buy new gear. It is making competitors nervous. And honestly, it should. We are talking about the successor to one of the most important cameras of the last decade. The original Nikon Z9 didn't just update a product line. It saved a reputation. It proved that Nikon was still a king in the world of optics. So, replacing it? That is almost impossible. But if the leaks are true, Nikon isn't just trying to replace it. They're trying to redefine everything all over again. Today, we are going deep into the insane leaks, the final specs, and the price predictions that are setting the internet on fire. This is the Nikon Z9 II, and you are not ready for this. To understand why everyone is losing their minds over these rumors, you have to look at where we stand right now. The current flagship, the Z9, is a beast. There's no other word for it. When it came out, it did something that sounded crazy at the time. It ditched the mechanical shutter. People thought it was risky. People thought it was a gimmick. But it worked. It delivered speed and reliability that sports photographers and wildlife shooters had only dreamed of. It handled rain, dust, heat, and cold without blinking. It rebuilt trust in the brand. So, when we hear whispers about the Z9 II or the Z92, we aren't just looking for a slight spec bump. We are looking for the next revolution. The leaks suggest that this is not a routine refresh. This is not about fixing mistakes because the Z9 didn't really have many. This is about ambition. It is about Nikon flexing its muscles and showing the world that they're not just catching up to Sony or Canon. They're planning to lead. Let's start with the heart of the beast, the sensor. This is where the rumors get really spicy. Multiple reports are pointing toward a brand new stacked CMOS sensor. But here is the kicker. They are likely pushing the resolution. The current Z9 sits at a very respectable 45.7 megapixels. It is the Goldilocks zone. It's enough detail for huge prints, but not so much data that it slows down the camera. But the leaks for the Z9 II suggest we're moving closer to the 50 megapixel mark. Now, you might think, who cares about a few extra megapixels? But you have to understand what this means for a flagship. Increasing resolution while maintaining blazing fast speed is incredibly difficult. It demands more processing power. It creates more heat. It challenges low-light performance. If Nikon is doing this, it means they have cracked the code on a new generation of image processing. For a wildlife photographer, that extra resolution is a game changer. It means you can crop in tighter on a bird in flight and still have a printable image. For a commercial photographer, it means more flexibility in studio. But the sensor conversation doesn't stop at megapixels. The biggest, most controversial rumor is about the shutter type. We are hearing the words global shutter being thrown around. Ever since Sony dropped the A9 III with a global shutter, the industry changed overnight. A global shutter reads every single pixel on the sensor at the exact same instant. There is no scanning. There is no rolling shutter. You could swing your camera like a baseball bat while recording video, and straight lines would stay straight. You can sync your flash at any shutter speed. It is the holy grail of imaging technology. However, global shutters have always had a weakness. They usually struggle with dynamic range and high ISO performance compared to traditional sensors. If Nikon puts a global shutter in the Z9 II, it means one of two things. Either they are willing to accept that trade-off for pure speed, or, and this is the exciting part, they have found a way to solve it. If Nikon releases a high-resolution global shutter camera that still has great dynamic range, it is game over. That would be the ultimate camera. Even if they don't go full global shutter, the fact that they are testing it shows they are gunning for the top spot. They're not playing it safe. They are engineering a machine designed to be faster than anything else on the market. And, speed is nothing if you can't focus. The original Z9 has incredible autofocus. It has 3D tracking that feels like magic. It can find an eye, a face, a bird, a car, or a plane and it locks on. But the competition is moving fast. Sony is adding dedicated AI chips to their cameras. Canon is refining their dual-pixel tech. Nikon knows they cannot stand still. The rumors for the Z9 II indicate a massive leap in autofocus intelligence. We are talking about a next-generation focus engine built entirely around advanced machine learning. The goal isn't just to recognize a shape. The goal is to understand intent. Imagine a camera that knows who the main player is on a soccer field, not just because they are closest, but because the algorithm understands the game. Imagine a system that could track a bird through thick branches without getting distracted by the leaves. This is critical because sports and wildlife photographers often only get one chance. You miss the shot, and the moment is gone forever. If the Z9 II can deliver that extra 1% of reliability, that extra fraction of a second in acquisition speed, it becomes the default choice for the Olympics, the World Cup, and every major event on the planet. The leaks suggest faster subject acquisition and better performance in low light. We all know that autofocus systems struggle when the sun goes down. If Nikon can make the Z9 II see in the dark better than the human eye, they win. It represents a shift from smart autofocus to intelligent autofocus. It's subtle, but for a pro, it's everything. Let's talk about video. A few years ago, nobody bought Nikon for video. It was a stills-first company. The Z9 changed that narrative completely. It gave us internal 8K, internal RAW recording, and professional codecs that filmmakers actually use. It was a shock to the system. For the Z9 II, the expectations are even higher. We aren't just looking for good video features. We're looking for cinema-grade specs. The rumors point to higher frame rates in 8K. Imagine shooting high-resolution, slow-motion for nature documentaries. We are hearing about cleaner, oversampled 4K footage that looks like it came from a dedicated cinema camera. But high specs come with high heat. That is the enemy of every mirrorless camera. If you pack that much data into a small body, things get hot. Professionals cannot afford for their camera to shut down in the middle of an interview or a wedding ceremony. The Z9 II is rumored to have redesigned internal cooling and better thermal efficiency. This is the boring stuff that doesn't look cool on a spec sheet, but it is the most important thing in the real world. A camera that works for 20 minutes is a toy. A camera that works for 12 hours straight is a tool. Nikon has a reputation for building tanks. The Z9 II needs to be a tank that doesn't overheat. If they can offer these high-end video features with unlimited recording times, they will steal even more users away from Canon and Sony. We also have to discuss the body itself. The Z9 is a big camera. It has that integrated vertical grip. It feels substantial. Some people love that it balances big telephoto lenses perfectly. Others find it heavy after a long day. The rumors suggest the Z9 II might shed a little weight. Not a lot. You don't want it to feel cheap, but enough to make a difference. We might see improved weather sealing, which is crazy because the current weather sealing is already legendary. But the most interesting physical update could be the electronic viewfinder, the EVF. The EVF is your window to the world. If it lags, or if the resolution is low, it breaks the immersion. You want to feel like you're looking through glass, not looking at a tiny TV screen. The leaks suggest a brighter EVF with a higher refresh rate. For sports shooters, this is huge. You need to see the action in real time. Any delay, even milliseconds, can mess up your timing. A 120 Hz or even 240 Hz blackout-free viewfinder would make tracking fast action feel completely seamless. It's these quality-of-life improvements that justify the upgrade for people who already own the original Z9. Now, we have to address the elephant in the room, market positioning. When the first Z9 came out, it was the only king of the hill. But now, Nikon has the Z8. The Z8 is basically a mini Z9. It has the same sensor, the same processor, and most of the same features, but in a smaller, cheaper body. It's an incredible camera, but it creaked. It's a problem for the Z9 II. If the Z8 is already that good, what does the Z9 II need to do to justify its existence? It can't just be a Z8 with a bigger battery. It has to offer something unattainable elsewhere. This is why the global shutter rumors or the 50 megapixel rumors make sense. The Z9 II needs a killer feature that separates it from the rest of the lineup. It needs to be the camera for the person who compromises on nothing. It needs to be the ultimate status symbol and the ultimate tool. If they just release a minor update, people will just buy the Z8. Nikon knows this. They are smart. They know they need to protect their flagship tier. The Z9 II will likely come with a price tag that reflects this elite status. We are probably looking at a price point similar to, or slightly higher than, the original Z9 launch price. But for the target audience, agencies, production houses, top-tier pros, the price is secondary to performance. If it gets the shot, it pays for itself. As we get closer to 2026, the noise is only going to get louder. Every patent filing, every insider tip, every vague comment from a Nikon executive is going to be analyzed to death. And that is part of the fun. But it also tells us a story about the industry. We are reaching a point of diminishing returns, yet the companies keep pushing. We thought 24 megapixels was enough. Then we got 45. Now we want 50. We thought 4K was enough. Now we want 8K. We thought 20 frames per second was fast. Now we want 120. The Nikon Z9 II represents that relentless drive forward. It is easy to get lost in the numbers. But you have to remember what these cameras actually do. They capture history. They document wars, weddings, championships, and first steps. The people who use these cameras are the eyes of the world. They need gear that disappears in their hands. They need gear that doesn't fight them. The Z9 was a masterpiece of engineering because it got out of the way. It let the photographer just shoot. The Z9 II has the difficult task of being even more invisible. It needs to be faster, smarter, and sharper so that the person behind the lens doesn't have to think about settings. They only have to think about the moment. The reliability factor cannot be overstated. Nikon users are loyal because their cameras last. There are people still shooting with Nikon D3S and D4S from over a decade ago. Those cameras have been dropped, rained on, and banged around, and they still fire. The Z9 II is being built with that same DNA. In a world of disposable tech, where phones get replaced every year, a flagship camera is an investment for the long haul. That is why the thermal engineering and the weather sealing matters so much. This isn't a gadget. It is a workhorse. So, what is my honest opinion on this? Should you be excited? Absolutely. Even if you can't afford it, you should be excited. Technology trickles down. The autofocus innovations in the Z9 II today will be in the Z6 and Z7 of tomorrow. The sensor tech will eventually make its way to cheaper bodies. This camera sets the ceiling for what is possible. And right now, Nikon looks like they're trying to punch a hole through that ceiling. If the global shutter rumors are true, Nikon wins the generation. If the improved AI autofocus is as good as they say, they solidify their place as the top choice for action. The Z9 II isn't just a camera. It is a statement of intent. It says that Nikon is not done. They are hungry, and a hungry Nikon is the best thing that could happen to the camera industry. It pushes Sony. It pushes Canon. It forces everyone to be better. And in the end, we, the users, are the ones who win. We are looking at a machine that could potentially shoot 50 megapixel raw images at 30 or 60 frames per second. Just think about the data throughput. Think about the buffer depths. We are entering an era where the hardware is no longer the limitation. The only limitation is the photographer. That is scary, but it is also exhilarating. The Nikon Z9 II is shaping up to be the kind of camera that you buy and never need to upgrade again. It's the end-game camera. I truly believe that when this camera finally drops, it is going to silence the critics. It is going to be big, it is going to be expensive, and it is going to be magnificent. Whether you shoot sports, wildlife, fashion, or high-end video, this is the one to watch. The leaks are insane, the specs are looking final, and the anticipation is at an all-time high. The king of mirrorless is coming back to defend its throne, and from everything we are hearing, it is bringing big guns. This is an exciting time to be a creative. The tools available to us are getting better every single day. The Z9 II is the pinnacle of that progress. It combines the heritage of Nikon's optical excellence with the cutting-edge future of computational photography. It is the bridge between the old world of DSLRs and the new world of AI-driven imaging. So keep your eyes peeled. Keep your ear to the ground. Because when the official announcement drops, it is going to shake the foundation of the photography world. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the future of Nikon, make sure you smash that subscribe button. We cover the latest and greatest in camera tech every single week. Share this video with your photographer friends who are still holding on to their DSLRs. Tell them the future is here. And don't forget to hit the bell icon so you never miss an update on the Z9 II or any other gear news. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.